So the other day, I threw that motor on here just to see how it's going to line up. And the motor bracket has some little tabs that come down on each side that's got holes in it. I guess if you wanted to drill through and firmly attach it to the transom. And one of them tabs is hitting this bolt right here. And it's keeping the motor bracket from being flush. So I cut out this piece of plywood. It's a 1/2 inch exterior grade plywood. Painted 2 coats of oil-based paint on each side, and I'm going to drill a couple bolts in it. I'd like to get 4, but I'm scared I'm going to end up getting into that bracket. I should have measured it before I took it off, but I didn't because, well, that's just par for the course with me. But I'm going to go ahead and drill me some holes, attach it on, and then hopefully I'll put that motor on for the last time. I'll let that sit on there for a little bit. Before I put the engine back on, I need to clean the gas tank out. I've ran it with that gas tank on there, but I just poured some gas in it. And the tank looked pretty clean when I did it, but just to be sure, I'm gonna pour a little gas in it, swash it around, pour it out. And if it looks clean, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here. Cause kind of messed up. The engine on, can't really get the gas tank in and out. Could pose a problem, but hopefully you won't have to have the gas tank out. I went ahead and carpeted that last piece, the piece that goes side to side in front of this rear bench, letting it dry. And I'm still waiting on stuff from Amazon. It's actually supposed to show up today. And that's really all I can do today until that stuff comes in. Hopefully tomorrow, if I have to work overtime, I can just about button this whole boat up. I don't think I'll be able to do everything, but I think by tomorrow afternoon, I'll be able to have this thing ready to take out on the water for a test. I think I'm gonna go fishing. I gotta go to the post office and ship some lures. And it's real close to a pond that I fish sometimes, so it's a nice day today. It was real cold this morning, but it's supposed to be like 60 something degrees and it's sunny and not very much wind. I might go wet a hook. Finally, let's get to work. like I said in the previous video, I'm not a fan of wiring. I hate wiring anything. I've always had trouble wiring stuff. I don't know. It's not in my DNA to be an electrician, I suppose. But I feel like it would be an injustice not to show at least how I went about wiring this boat. I'm not 100% done. I got a lot of cleaning up to do, but I'm pretty sure that everything is done with the wiring. I hope. And I hope I don't burn my boat to the ground, because that'd be a lot of work for nothing and a lot of money. But I'm gonna give you a quick overview of how I did it. I've watched a bunch of videos on YouTube on how to wire a boat, and really I didn't get a whole lot of information on it. I think it's because I'm on a lower level on this wiring thing for whatever reason. So what I'm gonna give you is the how to wire a boat for dummies crash course real quick. All right, so I ended up going with 2 batteries. I have one battery that is just powering my trolling motor and my fish finder. And what I have is, from the battery, the positive is going to a 50 amp circuit breaker, and then from it is going to the trolling motor. Now that fish finder isn't pulling very many amps at all. It's got an inline fuse, so I'm not really worried about it. The trolling motor and the fish finder was the easiest part. I mean, I directly wired to it, positive and negative, other than that circuit breaker that's going to the trolling motor. I have had problems with trolling motors in the past. My first bass tracker, it would always want to trip the circuit breaker. So circuit breaker with a trolling motor, I think, is pretty important. And then obviously I've got that 2-bank charger, and it's on there, and it has little inline fuses for both of them on both sides, positive and negative. So that's what these 3 wires are. You have your on-bank charger, your negative or your trolling motor, and your fish finder. Same thing with the positive side. So that's pretty cut and dry. Now this smaller battery, I plan on getting newer batteries, but man, I got so tired of waiting around on stuff. I had these 2 batteries sitting around, and they charged good. So I'm going to use these until I have problems with them. If you're wondering why they're so dirty, I need to at least clean them up so they don't look so crappy. Okay, so for this battery, it's powering everything else on my boat, which is basically all low voltage stuff, but it is kind of a lot of stuff. So from the positive side, I went to this battery kill switch. There's a disconnect. That way I can just kill it if I ever need to. If I have problems, boat catches on fire, I got an electrical problem or something like that, I can just kill the power right here. That's going to kill the power to everything else. Probably would have been smart to put one of these on this battery, which I may do at a later date just to be safe, but not today. All right, so you go from your positive into your battery disconnect, and then out of the disconnect goes to the fuse panel, little fuse block. And the same thing, the negative side is running straight to the fuse block. All this on this side is all your negatives, and all these right here are all your positives. This is basically like a bus bar on this side, where a lot of my negatives for up front part of the boat are right here. Like I said, this is your power supply coming straight from the battery disconnect, and it's powering these. So I ran wires from these all the way through here. I cut 2 holes to run these wires through. I know this looks like a rat's nest right now. Like I said, I got some cleaning up to do, so don't hate on me. In here I have another bus bar. That one is going straight to the negative side of the battery. That way I'd have to run a whole bunch of long wires to get to the fuse block. So now I have all my power going to my switches. Now on your switches, you'll have 2 open spots. They come almost pre-wired. They're all looped together. Now a lot of people, if you got like a big fuse panel, you know, they'll go into detail about how to disconnect them, how they're not all looped together, and it won't trip out as much, or you won't have as many problems. But since all this is low volt and it's not but 4, I just left it be how they had it wired up. So from your fuse block to your switches, these are all my switches, and then the other end of your switch, you'll have one other tab on each switch, and that's going to go to whatever you're powering at the moment. If that makes any sense. I hope it makes sense. So to break it down real quick, say my bilge pump is in the back. So you have a power and a negative, and both those wires are ran all the way up here into the switch where your bilge pump is. So out of the back of that switch, you'll have the remaining wire will come up through to your fuse block. And then your fuse block is being powered by your battery, but it's going through this disconnect. And then the black wire from the bilge pump is coming all the way back from the bilge pump to either this bus bar, which is just like an extension of a negative is all that is, or to this side of the fuse block. Either or should work. And then this is my 2-bank charger. And what I did is I put, I mean, it came with like the male end of the cord where you could just plug it into an extension cord. But every time I would have to open up one of these hatches to charge it, instead of doing that, I got this adapter. So all I gotta do is pop this open and plug it in right here. I just think that would be a little bit easier and give me a little bit cleaner look. So hopefully that helped, and hopefully I got it right. So if I don't, somebody let me know before I burn my boat down. And this is my rear light. I was looking for a place to stow it, because I mean, I never use these things. I hardly ever fish at night. Sometimes early in the morning I'll have to do it, but I mean, it just fits perfectly right here. I gotta find something to strap it down so it's not sliding up and down, but that's almost perfect spot for it. As of right now, everything's working. Trolling motor's working, depth finder's working, which I haven't set it up yet. Everything that I have on the switch panel is working. And that's basically it for this boat. I mean, all the hard work is done, I believe. I have a lot of cleaning to do. I have to tie up some of these wires so they don't look so bad. I have to do something about the rollers on the trailer because they're like white and chalky. I'm gonna try to clean them up real good. And I got some foam pad that I'm gonna wrap around them. I'll put some foam pad on the front of the boat to keep that trolling motor from hitting it. That's pretty much it. So the next video should be like one reveal of the boat. I'll pull it somewhere, maybe my next fishing spot, and just go over everything. And it'll be the first time I take it fishing, I hope. Hopefully it don't sink and everything works. So I'm kind of excited about it. Hopefully one day next week. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow I got to feel I'm gonna have to work a 12-hour shift. So next good day next week, I'll be taking this thing out. I'm kind of glad. So I still got a few things to do. I want to do the box. I think I'm gonna close it in with plywood, but I need some L brackets to do it. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to 4 sides, really just 3 sides, because I'm going to use the back of the seat for one side, and that'll just be storage. I still got to find out something to do with this switch panel lid. The latch I got isn't going to work. I'm tempted to just run a screw down it, but as soon as I do that, something's going to happen, and I'm going to need to get in there. So I don't want to I might just leave it as it is for a while and then just make sure nothing's wrong with the boat, then run a screw in it. But yeah, it's about there. I'm getting excited. I'm excited about taking this thing out. Next time I see you, at least with this boat build, it's going to be on the water. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you on the next one.